What would you do if you found out that the reason your child who was born hearing was now deaf? What would you do if you learned that the reason they became deaf was because they had contracted the measles? What would you do if you learned that if you had your child vaccinated for the measles, they probably wouldn't have contracted the measles and therefore became deaf? I have learned that vaccinating your child will help to fight against illnesses, that there is no connection between vaccines and autism, and that the vaccination schedule can be flexible. I have two cousins with autism and have studied and researched children with autism in other communication classes. Vaccinations were not the cause for their autism. Knowing if vaccines are right for your child can be overwhelming for every parent. This is why I am going to tell you the benefits of vaccinating your children. From Business Week's frequently asked questions about immunizations, we learned that the three major vaccine reasons to vaccinate your child are to help fight against illness, that there is no connection between vaccines and autism, and that the vaccination schedule can be flexible. Let's start with how vaccines help to fight against illnesses. Say vaccines help to fight against illness, including the measles. The study conducted by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention looked at hospital and death records going back to the 1900s and estimated the death rates before various vaccines were invented. In 9 of the diseases, rates of hospitalization or death had declined more than 90%. Vaccines not only help to protect your child from illnesses, but they can help prevent death. Children are going to get sick. It's a natural part of their development process as their body's immune systems become strong. It's important for them to get sick. We all get sick. Our bodies sometimes need us to get sick to help build up those immunities. As more parents are choosing not to vaccinate their children, there have been more outbreaks of measles. In the first 4 months of 2008, there were 64 confirmed cases of measles in the United States. That's a lot for being 2008. All of these cases were due to children not receiving the measles vaccination. Measles can also cause deafness. Not vaccinating your child puts them at risk. Dr. Amy Turner had this to say about vaccination. Vaccine rejection is dangerous. It harms the child who are not vaccinated, and it harms unrelated children who are too young to be vaccinated. Vaccinations are necessary in the prevention of childhood diseases. And it's important for parents to think about how their vaccinations of their own children will affect other children that they may come in contact with. The vaccinations help fight against illnesses and death in children. Now that we know a little bit more about the reasons for vaccination, let's talk about vaccinations and autism. There are no scientific connections between vaccinations and autism. Are they even related? Vaccinations and autism? The Institute of Medicine cites no evidence of autism and vaccination. Doctors are not 100% sure that there is a correlation between autism and vaccination. Genetics could also be the cause for autism, and that is why it is not easy, and sometimes that's not easy for some parents to hear, that their genetics are the reason for their son, or even possibly daughter, to have autism. Autism could be caused by the food we eat. Many of the children in the United States today do not eat healthy food. Most foods are high in sugar and preservatives. Parents who are worried about vaccination causing autism need to take a close look at the foods their children are eating. Are they eating fruits and vegetables, or are they eating fatty, sugary foods at every meal? My two cousins, who are both boys that have autism, have not had all of the tests that they have had done There's been no correlation that the vaccines that they received as infants and toddlers were the cause for their autism. Again, supporting that there's just inconclusive material to support that vaccinations cause autism. But there's hope. The vaccination schedules can be flexible. Some schedules can be done on a monthly, bi-monthly, or even quarterly basis. There are many benefits for putting your child on a monthly vaccination schedule. Using a monthly vaccination schedule gives the parent the chance to control which vaccine their child gets and at what time. This will also help the doctors and parents to see if the child has a reaction to a certain vaccine. Having some control over the timing of the vaccines can give some parents a little bit more breathing room and help them relax a little bit when it comes to feeling like they have a say in the vaccines of their children. Another schedule option is the bi-monthly option. Giving your child vaccines on a bi-monthly basis is another option that doctors are willing to provide parents. Bi-monthly vaccines give the flexibility to the parents of when their child gets a vaccine, but also helps to keep the child on track of getting the vaccines in a timely manner. The last option for vaccine schedule is the quarterly. This also offers a lot of freedom for the parents. Children who receive their vaccines on a quarterly basis allows the freedom for the parents, again, feeling like they're not spending all of their time in a doctor's office with their children. And again, giving them a little bit more control over the say of their children's health care. This option just might be the win-win for both the parents and the doctors. It helps the parents if they want to have more time to research different vaccines, and it also provides the doctors with the opportunity to see their patients. I hope I have been able to persuade you in thinking a little differently about vaccines. Now we know of the 3 areas of interest when you were thinking about vaccinations for your children. In conclusion, vaccinations have been around for over a century. They have helped to prevent childhood diseases and even death. Vaccinations are a good thing. They are given to keep children alive. I know that many parents feel that vaccinations cause autism. I challenge you to think differently. Do you want to be one of those parents that finds out the hard way and lose your child to death, or possibly have them lose their hearing? That's a question that only you as parents can answer.